So here the slide shows us the revised revenue distribution by tax type. And what we see here is that nearly 60% of all government revenue comes from personal and corporate tax. So why does this matter? Well, firstly, it matters because it means that the government depends on a small group of taxpayers to carry a majority of the budget. And we call this a narrow tax base. So what does a narrow tax base look like? You can have a look on the next slide. What we see here is that 95%, so have a look, that would be on your right hand, the orange and the yellow. 95% of the personal income tax paid are paid by 30% of the registered taxpayers. That's your left orange and yellow bars. This means that there's only a few people that pay almost everything in the personal income tax. And it means that any changes made to tax affects a certain group more than it affects other groups. And in very simple terms, it means that we can't really increase our tax revenue. And the Minister of Finance knows this, which is also why it's likely the reason why the MTBPS announced additional funding for the Revenue Service. In the 2022 period, financial year, which is our latest available tax data, we see that there was just over 7 million taxpayers expected to submit. But of these, only 6 million were actually assessed. At the end of the day, increasing efficiency of revenue collection is the only way for them to actually increase it because we have such a narrow tax base. And it means that we see government has a lot of difficult choices that they need to make. So here we see a stacked area chart, and it shows us how expenditure is allocated. We can see that the budget areas, they compete for funding. We see some shrink, especially if you have a look at the top red line, it's debt servicing costs. And we can see it pushing down, especially towards the right-hand corner. We can see it pushing down on all of the rest of the budget areas. And debt servicing cost is our single largest expenditure item. And if you take it into comparison, we spend almost 1.5 times more on paying off our debt than we spend on all our troops in military, the police force, and our judges and courts combined. It's shocking. Other aspect of the budget that we need to consider is the public service wage bill, which is in this graph included in the orange area. But we'll move on to the next slide to have get a better idea of what this actually looks like.